Welcome to the Love Inspired Leadership Podcast. We are so grateful that you are here. And I just want to let you know that this podcast is such an honor for me to bring people to you that I truly respect, admire, and honor for their position in serving the world as their highest selves. And I love the conversations on this podcast. It changes me, and my intention is that it will contribute to the incredible impact and influence in bringing more love into your life and your business. And today, I'm so excited because this guest today, I've had the honor of knowing her for a number of years, and I've taken a few training programs through her, one being hypnotherapy, which was a profound impact in my life. And through this woman, I've also had the honor of learning magnified healing in Costa Rica, which has contributed, oh my goodness, profound sacred grounding within my life. And it has contributed to my calm confidence, my position to serve the world, even from a higher place within myself. So let me tell you who she is. So she is a luminous force in the world of integrative health and conscious leadership. Melissa Deely is one of the dynamic co-founders of Amplify Impact Academy, which is a global hub for personal transformation, leadership development, and high-frequency living, where she empowers people to release unconscious limitations, align with their soul's truth, and amplify their impact in the world. And Melissa is an award-winning integrative body-mind health practitioner, an international speaker, and 5 times best-selling author whose work bridges science, soul, and deep personal responsibility for our well-being. And she is the host of the globally ranked Don't Wait for Your Wake Up Call podcast. She inspires thousands around the world to take charge of their health and their life, turning crisis into a doorway for a profound awakening. Oh, Melissa, so excited to have you here on my Love Inspired Leadership podcast. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I am honored to be here and be on this episode with you because, as you said, we've known each other for a long time and such great friends and so aligned. So I know this is going to be a powerful conversation.
Me too. So let's just dive in. So you guide people through not waiting for their wake-up call. You know, was there a defining wake-up call for you within your own life that set you on this path of integrative mind, body health, and high-frequency living?
I didn't have a defined wake-up call myself per se in relation to my health, although I did find myself one day just going to work and then being told that I had an hour to clear out my desk and no word of thanks after 24 years of service because big fish bought little fish, and that was that. So it wasn't a health-related wake-up call. It was just a life wake-up call, right? I didn't have another plan. I'd been there for 24 years. I thought that's where I was staying. I loved that job, and I thought that's where I would spend the rest of my career until I wasn't. And really, you know, the universe had a different plan for me. It was a great job. I learned a lot, and I was far too comfortable. And so over the course of the next 2 years, the universe absolutely guided me into health and wellness because it was never on my radar. Never, ever, ever. And yet, every seed or crumb that I followed, it just took me down this path. And I was literally lighting up every single time, getting excited. And I stepped into health coaching school and I couldn't stop learning. I was voracious. I didn't want to stop learning just to eat. I just wanted more. And then I went into integrative mind, body health, and I started learning functional medicine lab testing. And same thing, I just wanted to keep learning. And it was really intriguing because I started wondering, where has this voraciousness come from? Where does this excitement come from? It was never there before, never on my radar. And I just found that really fascinating. And later that year, another mutual friend of ours offered to read my Akashic records. And I decided to do that on December 31st because I thought that would be a really fun way to end the year and start another. And she told me that in many of my past lives that I'd been a healer, I had been a wizard, I had been I'd been a witch, a white wizard, I think she said, and a witch in many, many lives. She said, I can see you writing making your potions and writing your recipes. And I can also see them being burned. And so I thought that was fascinating. And again, really grounding for me that I was on the right path here. As I continued down this health and wellness journey, it really solidified and gave me the confidence to keep going because I was like, now I understand why I'm learning this so easily and why I want to keep learning, because it's coming back to me. I'm remembering it.
Uh-huh.
And through all of that, it led me into learning about the unconscious mind and getting more into our inner programming from childhood and understanding that, guess what? That programming is created in a way and at a time that we need it, and it serves us at that time. And just like our phones and our laptops all get updates, we can get updates too. And any time that we are stuck in our life or having some kind of pain in our life, it's our body and our mind attempting to communicate to us that something is out of balance, that something is wrong. And yes, sometimes it may be a physical issue within our body that we need to be addressing. However, sometimes it's simply that our programming is outdated and needs to be updated. And that's the work that I love to do now and train other practitioners in this work, because that allows me to have greater impact. You know, you said I was connected to you becoming a magnified healer, and I love that you're a magnified healer. And I didn't train you personally because I trained someone else who trained you. And that's the ripple effect that I'm so excited to create in this world.
And it's a feeling within yourself that you're realizing the ripple effect of this training. And when we live in our lane of joy, in our lane of purpose, passion, curiosity, interest, that's when I think, like you said, there are these little clues and different avenues that you went down, and you continued to go down. You didn't even want to sleep. You were so excited.
I was.
It was like a whole new world to enter.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I want the audience to realize, to just become curious, being in that state of wonder. What could it be for you?
Exactly.
Melissa, you are, I think, because of all the education, all the work, all the contributions, become so much more in alignment with who you are. And it's like you said, you're remembering.
Yes.
And that, when we're in that state of flow, of grace, of ease, allowing that current to just flow within our life, energetically, we live with vitality.
Yes.
So how has your vitality changed from when you worked in that job for 24 years as compared to how it is now?
Well, night and day. And now I'm more than 10 years older than when I left that job and 30 years older than when I started that job. And don't get me wrong, wellness was always important to me. Exercise was always important to me. I was an athlete growing up. And so when I was in my 20s and 30s, I was still very active. And I didn't know a whole lot about nutrition. I knew what I knew, and I attempted to make the best decisions based on what I knew at the time, right? So it wasn't that I was just not looking after myself at all in those days. I was. And yet, now when I'm not just focusing on my physical body, I'm focusing on my emotional body. I'm focusing on my mental body. I'm focusing on my spiritual body and the alignment of all 4 bodies. That just allows me to be in this beautiful place of peace and joy and gratitude where I'm so excited to get up and live my life every day and be of service and show up in the world. And it just, words can't even express how much that means to me to be able to do that. And to be able to vibrate at a frequency where I'm attracting in other people vibrating at that same frequency. And that's my community. And it is such a different community to where I was at 10 plus years ago, where, you know, everybody would sit around and complain. Then now we all come together in this beautiful place of love and support and lift each other up.
That is so beautiful. And I just want the audience to realize that if you've forgotten how to dream and feel this incredible opportunity to have a life that's percolating inside your soul, I guarantee you it's possible wherever you want.
Absolutely.
And there are tools. I mean, your academy, all the different tools that you use within supporting practitioners to support individual people. And it's a matter of being decided. I mean, you got your job taken away from you. It was decided outside of yourself. And, you know, that's a gift.
That was a gift.
Yes.
It was a gift. Absolutely.
Yes. And
that would never be where I am today. If that hadn't happened, I'd still be there. And I wouldn't know what else was possible. Yes. I wouldn't know how far I could come.
You wouldn't even know what you don't know, I always say.
Exactly.
You know what you don't know, you don't know.
And I still don't know what I don't know.
Exactly.
However, what I do know is I know there's always more. And I don't mean more as in, you know, what money can buy more of. I mean more for me to learn. More for me to connect with myself, more for me to connect with other like-minded people, and more for me to be of service to those who are naturally drawn in. Our academy, we only have 12 students in a group at a time for our Quantum Life Mastery School. We keep it small on purpose in order to create this beautiful container of safety for people to be able to come through and literally rewire their neurology so they can no longer do their problem and they show up as that better version of themselves by the time they're done.
And the opportunity is available.
Yes.
There's the power of possibility here. Yes. It's a matter of becoming decided. And I know your partner. I just had the honor of interviewing Billy, your partner, at the Amplify Impact Academy. And her story is very powerful too.
Yes.
In regards to a career that was the polar opposite of what she is in service with now in her teaching with you in the academy. And I truly know that life is calling us forward, and it's a matter of just being curious, not thinking above the line, just being curious, having a state of wonder. Yes. What can be, you know, what's possible, what's even more. And what I love about life and business is that when we become in alignment authentically with who we are, that's when we attract to us other people that function at that same level of contribution, of values, of joy, of gratitude. And it's so fulfilling to know that we get to surround ourselves, which is what you said earlier, with, you know, I call it my dream team.
Yes.
It's a team of people that I get to learn from, that I get to be inspired by. But it's also those people that I get to call in a lifeline if I'm stuck, because life happens.
Life does happen.
All roses,
That would be boring.
Those absolutely, and it's those places that we stop ourselves or get off the path. That we have people like your students, like Billy, and with me within my business and my strategic alliances. What I love is I know I can text someone and they will call me right away, so I can get back into this flow and current of life, which to me, it's all about the love, as you know, Melissa. And I believe that love will bring so much grace and healing, forgiveness, compassion into this world. And that's my specific mission in leaders.
Well, and I love what you said there too, that you have people that you can reach out to, because we're not supposed to do this alone. And that's definitely been a learning for me since getting out of the corporate world. I was very fortunate. I had a wonderful upbringing, and Billy and I are polar opposites to look at, and personality, everything. And yet, when she asked me, simply because we were in the same time zone, we met at our trainer's training when we were out east, and she's like, do you want to train together? Because we're in the same time zone. It just makes sense. And my brain did a little flip, like, I'm so used to doing everything on my own. And yet, I'm being taught interdependence. So this is a test of me stepping into that interdependence. We really didn't know each other that well at that point. And I said, yeah, let's do that. And it was the greatest thing I ever said, because since then, we've been training together for over 18 months. At our first training, our students were like, how long have you guys been doing this together? It's like, you've been training together for 10 years. And it was our first training together. But we just gelled and connected because, again, through the Akashic Records, we learned we've worked together in past lives. And so we were remembering, and we were just coming back together, and we have this beautiful ease and flow. And if you're out there like me, a lot of us in the Western world, in my generation anyway, we were raised to be independent. We were raised to do it all ourselves. And yet, if we go back centuries in time, it was never like that, especially for women. Remember, the village raised the children. The women would come together, and there'd be, 5 or 6 women, and Carolyn, we're going to take your kids for the day, and a bunch of us are going to look after all the kids, and then a bunch of us are all going to go clean your house. And then the next day, it's somebody else's turn. And we've come away from that in our modern era, where we all just box ourselves into our 4 walls. And in today's world, we barely see the neighbors.
That's right.
Yeah. And we're not supposed to do this alone. It is about finding your tribe. And it is about lifting one another up. And so I love that. And I want to also say, because I have a nonprofit. And it's this work that allowed me to step into the courage of even starting Girls Matter. Because I wanted to help educate girls, because I know there's a lot of girls around the world that are out of school, and over 52 countries around the world that charge for high school education. That's why they're out of school. And yet I was just one person. So those thoughts in my head were, well, how can you do anything? You're just one person. And this work allows you to overcome that and release those limiting beliefs and limiting decisions and say, you know what, I'm going to do it anyway. And shift the thought process to, what if I could help just one person? I've made a difference. And from there, you help one more, and then one more, and one more. And before you know it, you've started in Uganda. Now you're helping girls in Uganda and Kenya. And as it grows, we add more countries.
And that was from one thought, one decision, and opening. Everything's about keys for me. Opening that door to opportunity of love, because that's what you're doing. And you're having the honor and the opportunity of bringing people together with you on this journey and evolution as you impact 1, 2, 5, 20, 50, 100, 1,000 girls. And it is such a beautiful thing to give back.
Yes.
Because I have a phrase that I call the phrase that pays. I have many of them. And then the truth is that what we give is truly the only thing that we have the opportunity of receiving. That is personally why love is so important to me, because when I share the love that I have in people, in appreciation, in giving back, in the love I have for, I'm just looking out my window right now, the love I have for nature is that what we give, we actually receive. And Melissa, I'm just so thrilled with the people that you have surrounded around you for this incredible contribution to these young girls' lives. And there's something really special about making that decision to tithe. That's what I'm going to do in 2026. And I've been thinking about inviting other businesses to do the same. And I'm also thinking, well, why don't I do it with Girls Matter?
Yeah.
Well, there's an idea.
Because we've got some big stuff on the cusp happening here, Carolyn.
Awesome.
I just have to show you what I did today that I'm so excited about. And our board of directors don't even all know this yet. However, the podcast will come out after our board meeting on Wednesday. I booked an airline ticket today for one of our graduates from university in Uganda to fly from Uganda to Liberia to get a job with another woman that I was connected with through a client who on the day that we met told me, I'm looking for somebody in logistics and I'm about to place an ad in the paper. And I said, well, the reason I wanted to meet with you is because I have a graduate in Uganda who is having a hard time getting a job because of the state of the economy. And guess what she graduated in? Logistics.
See,
right? Like, you can't make this up. And to make it even more powerful, she also said she was looking for a teacher. And I had booked that call with her because I had a teacher and a lady in logistics. Now, the unfortunate thing is our teacher, both her parents are very ill. So she had to turn down moving to Liberia because she wants to be closer to her parents. However, you can't make this stuff up. No. That I would meet with the woman that I was connected with by a client. And on the day that we meet, she tells me she's going to place 2 ads, one for a teacher and one for logistics. And those are the 2 girls that I have that I'm helping get a job. So today I booked her airfare. She flies on January 7th to her new job. And so excited for the whole system that we've created in these countries to help these girls live a better life and not be married off as teenagers because parents can no longer afford their school fees or their food and marry them off so they become someone else's problem.
And so here's what I know is the truth, is that when we live our purpose and our calling, when we keep listening to that internal voice of wisdom and stay open and curious, that wide state of wonder on how things can come together and connect, I know that we receive gifts exactly like that. And they are clues to remind us to stay in the flow, to stay on the path, to stay committed. And I look forward to seeing those pictures. I mean, imagine that young girl's life. You are changing generations within that girl's life. I mean, that's the truth here. So
absolutely. And the statistics show that as well, that an educated woman is more than twice as likely to ensure her own children are educated. So every girl we educate is creating a generational ripple effect. And yes, I sent this girl and Nell, her employer, the airline ticket. And, she's from a little tiny village on the side of Mount Elgon. The closest big city is Mbale. She has to travel even further than that to get to the one airport in that country that's international. Never been on a plane before in her life. And so I sent her all of the information and I said, please read this very carefully and please ask questions. And what an adventure. And I'm sure there's, some fear and anxiety around it. And yet she knows this is such an opportunity that she didn't shy away. She said, yes, I want to do this.
Wow. I mean, that's one brave soul.
It is one brave soul. Yep.
Right there. And what an inspiration for all of us.
Yes, exactly.
So to me, love-inspired leadership.
Yeah.
It's ripples in the world.
It absolutely does.
Lasting legacy, which is my other piece within the podcast. And the lasting legacy that will happen from that one connection, from that one decision by you, and then that one decision by that brave, courageous young girl to step out of the familiar of her entire life to a whole new one. I mean, that's so inspiring. Thank you. And let me know, how can people connect with you? What would you like people to be invited to participate in all the wonderful things that you contribute?
So if people would like to connect in regards to Girls Matter, our website is girlsmatter.ca. You can donate there. We also have a new fun event that we do once a month called Date Night with Yourself. So stay in, get your popcorn out, and we stream a documentary so that you get to be curious, as Carolyn was talking about before, learn something new, and donate to Girls Matter to participate in that. And if you want to connect with us at Amplify Impact Academy to learn about the power of your unconscious mind and just step into what more is there? What more could there be for me in this life? We are literally at amplifyimpactacademy.com, and the same name for all websites, all socials, as well as our YouTube channel. And we offer a free monthly workshop just to give you a little taste and see if you like what we offer.
Come and experience it. You also have a podcast together that just started.
Yes, we do. And that is called Clear the Screen, literally clear the screen. If you're running the horror show, that's not doing you any good. Let's clear the screen so that you can run the love story over here.
A word right after my own heart. Melissa, I'm so proud of you. I feel honored to be your friend. I believe in everything that you're up to. And I've had the honor of witnessing you transform yourself over the last 4.5 to 5 years that we've known each other. And it just keeps getting better and better and better. So I just celebrate you. And for my audience, please feel free to reach out to Melissa. And I just want to leave with this one last question for you, is that where in your life can you become more curious, to have that state of wonder on what can be? Because that is possible. Thank you for joining us on the Love-Inspired Leadership. And until next time, take good care and God bless. Thank you for joining me on the Love-Inspired Leadership podcast. If today's episode stirred something in your soul, share it with someone who's ready to aim higher. Keep holding your vision, anchor in your truth, and take intentional, inspired action, because love is all there is.
Hey, I'm Michelle Abraham, founder of the High Vibe Podcast Network, and we are honored to have Carolyn Cooper's Love-Inspired Leadership show as part of our network family. For more inspiring shows like this one, visit highvibepodcastnetwork.com. And don't forget to grab your free gifts from our hosts in the gift fold. Till then, stay high vibe and keep sharing your life.